who was in the market March 2020 when social distancing became a thing? There was about a 3-week time span there where we didn't know what the heck was going to happen. Fed dropped the interest rate, and then the demand, people were buying homes, they were refinancing and buying homes like crazy. What's up, guys? It's Aaron Smith here, and we're at Northern Kentucky University, and we've got the Real Estate Economic Panel. It's about to start. We're gonna get plugged with a lot of questions on what's going on in the real estate market today. I'm a little nervous. Let's see how this goes.
We're not there now, and if we want to talk the coast, from New York, California, Florida, our market is not those markets, and those are the markets we hear in the news. Where would you speak to where we are now as far as pricing? Because Robbie brought up some great points about low inventory, still a lot of buyers out there, there's a lot of cash. Any agents in the room, there's multiple offers, we're going at or about list price, you're throwing in concessions because of the few homes that are listed. So speak to appreciation or value of prices.
Well, I'll start with kind of where our lives all changed with COVID, right? Show of hands, where are my real estate agents in the room? Okay, who was in the market March 2020 when social distancing became a thing? There was about a 3-week time span there where we didn't know what the heck was going to happen.
You got a PPP loan just in case. You had to protect your income because you didn't know if you could ever sell the house again.
Yeah, we had no idea what was going to happen. Fed dropped the interest rate, and then the demand, people were buying homes, they were refinancing and buying homes like crazy. So we had no idea that home prices were going to appreciate that fast. I believe between 2020 and 2021, it was about a 14 to 15% appreciation in 1 year. The next year was back-to-back 15% appreciation years. So if you bought a home for $200,000 in 2020, you could turn right around and sell it for what, 280? 270, something like that. And it was crazy. People were paying over asking price, no appraisal, no inspections, and all that. And everybody knew that that was unsustainable. There was no way that we were going to be able to sustain that. So if you look at today's numbers, if we're just looking at year to date, year over year appreciation, there are more homes pending right now than there are active. And if you don't mind if I ramble for a second, right? All right, cool. So essentially, if you look at who was buying and selling homes 2020, 2021, 2022, these were people who had a boatload of equity in their house that they could sell, and then they could buy their next home and get the money dirt cheap from Robbie over here, because they're writing mortgage loans at 2.5% to 3% for a 30-year fixed. That's stealing money. That's so cheap. And then today, so those people were cashing out $150,000 in equity. They were buying their dream home. They were skipping a generation of homes. They were not buying home number 2 or 3. They were buying the next one because they could, and the mortgage payment wasn't that much worse. What is the rate today, Robbie?
5.99.
Hey, that's a deal compared to a couple months ago. So would you sell your 3% interest rate house and go buy one at 5.99%? You couldn't afford to buy the house you're in right now at 5.99%. You wouldn't qualify for the loan, chances are. So if you look at who's selling homes today, the supply, it's people who have to sell. It's people who have lost a loved one and they need to sell that home. It's a divorce. It's they're having a kid, they need a bigger house, it's relocation. It's not the people who are cashing out their equity because their mortgage payment is going to be so much higher to move. So that in itself is going to limit the supply of what we can buy. And then the low supply is going to help fuel prices in the future. So we have a lot of people asking, when's the market going to crash? It's like, well, when we get a lot more houses to sell, because there are not going to be any fewer people in this world to live in homes. So we're going to need more houses for the long run. I don't have a fancy chart up here, but I got one in front of me. But there's a term, if you want to look it up, it's called absorption rate. And that is the rate at which buyers are picking up homes, right? So if no more homes hit the market, how long would it take for all of our current housing stock to be bought up? And as of last year, it was 0.86 months of inventory. That means if you don't list any more homes on the market, it would take you 3 weeks to sell everything we got. And this market today, as a year-to-date 2023, it's 1.22 months. So yes, the demand has fallen quite a bit, but a balanced market is still 3 to 6 months in inventory, and we're not there yet. So once you start to see that flip and the absorption rate goes up, we've got 3, 4, 5 months of inventory, that's when you're gonna see home prices start to get that, the appreciation is gonna start to dwindle.
Percentage of first-time home buyers have just given up. And I don't know what percentage it is, but call it because of the affordability index, but what would you say to, a group of college students that are entering the next phase of their life within the next 3 to 5 years, and home ownership is important to them? What would be some good counsel or advice for them?
Renting is not a bad thing, and I'll start with that because when you rent a home, you're essentially paying the landlord for the taxes, the insurance, you're paying them for the use of the space, and you don't have to repair the roof. However, the interest rate on rent is 100%. You don't get that money back. You're not building equity. You don't get to take advantage of the appreciation. 2016, different market than what we're in right now. I bought a house for $30,000 cash. So this is just an example to college kids that I wish I had known coming out of school. But I paid $30,000 cash. I borrowed that from my father's home equity line of credit. And then I ended up paying him back very quickly. But the cash flow on that asset was, I was making $600 a month off this $30,000 house. And it was a nice little 1-bedroom house. In that market, you could find that for an affordable price. But I used the cash flow after taxes and insurance, which was $400, to make my car payment. So I bought a vehicle with the rental income coming in from that, so it saved me that. That house today in 2023 is worth about $105,000, and all I did was put a furnace and some new floors in it. What my recommendation would be, even if you can't, what down payment on a FHA loan is 3.5%. If you can find a feasible property that's livable and live in it, rent it out, figure it out, but you can then start to realize the appreciation of the market. You can take advantage of debt pay down, you can take advantage of a lot of things, tax write-offs, mortgage interest deduction. So don't be discouraged by any sort of media that says that now's not a great time to buy because interest rates are high. 1985, interest rates were 14 to 16%. You think that, and people were still buying and selling homes back then. It's all about the market that you're in, and as somebody coming out of college, I would definitely just set some money aside, find an agent or somebody that you can partner with to help you find something, because time will build that real estate asset up. And you talk about what am I going to do with my money if I pull it out of the market? These uninsured, would you say 40-something% of the money is uninsured? 46% of the money in the banks is uninsured. You pull that out, what are you going to do with it? Well, real estate's going to long-term appreciate at an average of 4%, and the tenant's going to pay the house off for you. So not a bad idea to still buy real estate.
Being born today is like winning the historical lottery. And what he meant by that is there's no greater time in this world to be born than right now. We have more things, we have more stuff, we have more safety, we have more money, we have more cars, we have more houses, we have everything. Compared to any other part in history. Well, not long ago that, giving birth to a child, a woman's risk was exponential, that she wouldn't make it, right? Or that he had 4 kids too, wouldn't live to see 18. It wasn't that long ago that occurred. We don't have that stuff now. And so we do live in a great time, and I do want to leave you, especially for the college kids. I mean, this is one hell of a journey you're going on, and you have no idea what the future's going to hold. And I heard a quote, and I'm trying to think who said it. It was at a commencement speech, and you're going to laugh at me when I think he said it. He said, if you fail at what you don't like, why not give it a chance? It's something that you love, and take that chance. I think it was Jim Carrey. He said that in 2014. His father had told him, who had this perception of a safe job, lost his job, and how it impacted his family. And his father hated that job, and he said, why not take a chance or risk and doing something that you love?
When COVID hit and the market shot off like crazy, so many new people got their real estate license because it was a place where you could make money now. There was a lot of sales for a lot of money. In year to date, last year, there was $772 million worth of real estate sold year to date. It's a lot of houses, right? Year to date this year, it's $596 million. So that's down $22.7 million in sales volume. So what that correlates to in our real estate world is that there's, in Cincinnati, in year to date, there's $5.25 million less real estate commissions than there were last year. So if all the real estate agents who are in the business stay in the business right now, we're sharing less money. So either we're gonna have to trade in that $700 a month car, or we're gonna have to start selling more houses. So for those of you who are interested in getting into the business or staying in the business, I would say you need to get really good at your skills. You need to get really good at connecting with people. You need to get really good at networking, because it's not all that you know, it's who you know in real estate. So you're in a prime spot right now. You've got professors surrounding you who have connections. You have great resources through NKU, through Thomas More, that you can connect with and start talking to people who are in the mortgage world if you want to go into mortgage, if you want to get into real estate or finance. But the times of real estate being that it just falls in your lap and you run with it, that's gone. I got in the market when I was a junior at Eastern Kentucky University in 2007. It was less than 6 or 8 months later, the market completely tanked, and I had to figure out how to find buyers and sellers under every rock in the market. I knocked on doors, I made phone calls, they say fake it till you make it. I did the best I could. And it was because I joined a good company, I had good people around me, and you keep the good people around you, you'll learn these skills. And it's not a hard job if you like to work with people and you like to interact with people.
All right, no other questions, you guys? Thank you so much for being here.
We just finished up our economic panel here at Northern Kentucky University's College of Business, and I have to admit, we had some pretty high horsepower in there as far as economic brain power. I sat there on the end of the table as a real estate agent listening to an economics professor, a financial advisor, and a mortgage lender. They're throwing out all these stats about what the market's doing, and luckily I was able to share a few stories on what my clients have experienced in this market and what we as real estate agents are going through right now. So all in all, we had a room that was about half students and half real estate industry professionals. And we all walked away knowing a little bit more, and actually we feel a lot better about how the real estate economy is going right now. It's stable, it's not ideal in terms of interest rates compared to years past, but it's stable and it's still a great time to buy a house. The information that we got out of this economic panel is the same kind of stuff that we try to share on our podcast every single episode, so that you and everybody that you know is educated about what the market's doing and how to best act when you're buying or selling real estate, or even if you're thinking about getting into the real estate industry. So check out our podcast, the Real Estate Momentum Podcast, on Spotify and iTunes.